Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to the final review for Halloween month. Saving the best for last, definitely. Because I've been wanting for years and wanted to review this film. It's one of my all-time favorite horror films, but definitely it's put on my top 10 list, definitely. Because this is still one of the most generally creeping movies. To this day, to me, in my opinion, it still is one of the most generally creepy movies that I still have seen. And I know back then when it came out, it generally creeped a lot of people out. Thought that, just like how thought the whole thing was real and everything. So, and plus it is fitting because this marks the 25th anniversary of this film from 1999. So, very with a film that I love this film to death. I still do, and I'll still defend the movie because that's another thing. Over the years, this film has gotten a lot of hate which I have no idea why. I'll never understand it. I'll never will. So the film for the 25th anniversary for end of Halloween month is to me, like I said, I love to death, the Blair Witch Project. I love the Blair Witch Project. From seeing it from back then when I was a kid, it is one. Like I said, is one of the films that generally creeped me out, and until this day I still do because I still get the feel of it because I always just turn your phone off, right? Sit in my room in the dark, nothing else turned on, just to get that genuine vibe just to watch, especially at this time of the month, Sorry about squeaking my chair. But yeah, for this time of the month, And so, yeah, but I love this film. And I never understood the hate for this movie. I never did from people because it's fake. All movies are fake, okay? That's the thing, okay? Especially when it comes to these found footage movies, they're not real. Because think of it, if this was a real movie, the actual kids in the footage who disappeared, their parents would have sued the studios up the ass for allowing them to use this footage. That's what would have happened. Oh, you exploit our kids of what happened to them, we're going to sue you, That's what would have happened if this was a real movie, okay? I just always say, yeah, even my dad, he said when this came out, people were shocked, like, oh, this was like it was real, Well, yeah, that's what this film did. To me, as far as found footage, it's like one of the most realistic, one of the more realistic ones you would have watched. That's why I would say it. This is closest to being realistic as you can get, and there's so many things it has so much more going for this movie, which I'll get to. I don't know how long this will be because I love this film, so I wouldn't mind making another long ass review, so for a movie, But yeah, there's a lot, so I'll get to whatever I said. But yeah, Blair Witch Project. When it came out, this film was a huge hit. It was a huge hit on a very low budget, And I remember this came out the same weekend as Deep Blue Sea did, and Runaway Bride. Because I remember when I saw Deep Blue Sea first. I told this before I reviewed the movie, but I saw the poster up there, right there. I remember during that time it was one of the greatest movie theater experience I had when I was a kid. Right, like I said before, I saw Deep Blue Sea first. I remember I saw it with my cousin, my uncle, and my brother. He couldn't see it. He had to go see Runaway Bride instead with my mom and my aunt. That's still one of the funniest things I got from a movie theater experience, though. But yeah, Deep Blue Sea came on the same weekend, and Runaway Bride, along with the Blair Witch Project. Of course, Runaway Bride was the top movie of that weekend. Blair Witch Project was second, and Deep Blue Sea was third. But that was a good weekend, though, for both those movies, though. So then afterwards, later on, I saw the Blair Witch Project, and it generally creeped me out, even back when I was a kid, It did. It just gave me the uneasy feel because it's like we, the audience, we're with those people, those teenagers in the woods. We feel like we're in it with them, It draws us in with them. That's why people thought that this was, like, quote real, you know, because we feel for them. We're experiencing the same terror they're experiencing, you know. We're experiencing that level of unease of, you know. So, yeah, and so the film was a big hit. Even despite the fact that later on this film got people are criticizing this film. This film does have retained an 86% of Rotten Tomatoes. It still does, and even critics enjoyed the film. Even the late Roger Ebert, which I did pull up though, because I want to get some of the good people that thought this was good. Even Roger Ebert gave this film 4 stars. He said he calls it an extraordinary, effective horror film. Even Peter Travers from the Rolling Stone called it a groundbreaker in fright that revenants scary for the new millennium. I could definitely relate to that. Even Roger Ebert would go on to say, at a time when digital techniques can show us almost anything, the Blair Witch Project is a reminder of what really scares us is the stuff we can't see. Good point. The noise in the dark is almost always scarier than what makes the noise in the dark. Point taken. You know, Roger Ebert has a very good point, because yeah, that's one thing people say. Oh, you can't see you don't see anything in this movie. You don't have to rely on monsters or other phenomenon to scare you. You know, sometimes the best things that scares you is what you can't see. That's what some people tell to again. It's not like if you throw in like an actual monster, if it was CJ or in a suit in a costume, you know, a suit, you know, it would have defeated the whole purpose of it, you know. Especially when we expect to see an actual witch, you know what, the Wicked Witch of the West chasing you down in the woods with her broom. I'm gonna get you, my pretty. No. That's one thing. One of the best parts is you don't see anything. You know, it's mostly psychological. You know, is especially in the toll that it takes on these people in the woods. You know, sometimes what you can't see can be very suspenseful and scary. Yeah, and the noises you hear in the dark, you know, it kind of plagues on your mind as well. So. Yeah, so this was the critics that like Roger Ebert, Peter Travers of Rolling Stone, and so yeah, that's what they got good points, you know. But also, like, some of the people criticize, like, because after this film's released, because they say, oh, this is a fake movie, right? I mean, especially with what happened with actress Heather Donahue, you know. I think people were giving her a lot of shit before, you know. I think that because at the time, like, afterwards, you know, like, struggling to get jobs because of this, because people criticize her so much. I think that the attempt that she was driving, someone like made her drive off the road, you know. I'm like, just to go that far, you know, because it's a freaking movie, okay. You know, people just take things too far, you know. It's a movie, okay. That's what they do. They get paid to do, you know. Yeah, you think the people thought it was real, so because it fooled everybody. Come on. You know, some people just, you know, I feel bad for the actors, you know, especially for Heather Donahue, you know. And also, especially, speaking of, this one did get praised, though, she was nominated for a Razzie, Heather Donahue. Fuck the Razzies, you know. I mean, yeah, I agree with on certain films, they do deserve to get the Razzies, but at times, you know. But yeah, for worst actress, come on, fuck the Razzies. Didn't deserve. She's not. Yeah, what this her role in this film, what character is going through, she's for worst actress. Really? What? Because people make fun of her confession towards the end of the movie? Come on. Sorry, I loved her performance. She was not worst actress. Sorry, that's bullshit. I mean, I bought all three: Joshua Leonard, Michael Williams, and Heather Donahue. They all gave fantastic performances. Fantastic performances, which I will still say, because you bought the genuine terror that these three are going through. You know, I mean, psychologically, emotionally. You know, you know, but for the beginning of the movie, they were cracking jokes with each other, having some fun, you know. Then when they get into the woods, you know, then later they start breaking down, they're starting to get scared, and they're fighting amongst each other, you know. And later they reconcile, apologize to each other. And like I said, towards the end, when Heather takes the camera, you get her face on the poster, you know, her confessing, you know, to her friends' parents and to her parents, you know, and I bought it. I bought their acting, you know. I bought that if this is quote supposedly real, you know, they were generally terrible. We feel it for them. I felt it for them. You know, I felt like I was in their shoes in the film. So, yeah, but they all gave fantastic performances. I mean, Joshua Leonard, he want to do some other stuff as well. I mean, I know because I saw him in that shitty 2008 remake of Prom Night. I'm like, wait, that's Joshua Leonard from the Blair Witch. I'm like, what? Jeez. But yeah. But the Blair Witch Project, I love the film Death. It's one of my all-time favorite horror films. Definitely in my top 10 list, like I said. I mean, people who know about the Blair Witch Project, right? I mean, even the back of the cover, which I have on here though, but even people from critics from over here on the back of the DVD cover, which I do have, like I said, stored away though, but on the back of the DVD cover it says, you know, it's scary as hell from Peter Travers from Rolling Stone, like I said, genuinely frightening, chills you right to the core, and once again Roger Ebert gives it a thumbs up, you know, creative, inventive, and ingenious, he says, good. And then one of the creepiest films since The Exorcist. Which this is definitely much more creepier than The Exorcist. I definitely say that though. Because I mean, I respect The Exorcist, but I'm not really big on it at the same time. So I definitely found this a lot more creepier than The Exorcist, hands down. And like the story, you know, like, okay, in October 1994, 3 student filmmakers disappear in the woods near Burkittsville, Maryland, while shooting a documentary. A year later, their footage was found. Yeah, so in 1994, and a year later, 95, they found the footage. And one of the great things about this film that there's no score in the movie. There's no music, which was good, you know, because it gets the sense of the silence, like of the quote realism, right? Nothing but silence and just the hear the genuine the outside of the nature, you know. But of course, like I said, you get the opening, you get the title card. So you know what's gonna happen to them because what they describe in the title card, it scrolls, you know, about what happened to these students. So you already know something not good is gonna happen. So it's not like it's a surprise. But yeah. And so you get the 3 students, documentary filmmakers, like I said, Heather Donahue, Joshua Leonard, and Michael Williams. And like I said, they're having fun with each other in the beginning, you know, talking, making jokes amongst each other, right? I mean, they still had a sense of humor in this film as well. Like when they're in the woods, you know, and they're shooting with the camera. And Joshua and there's like, who is that? Oh, that's Heather. Well, who is that? Is that the witch? No, that's Heather trying to take a piss. And Heather's like, go away, you know. Or like when the Gilligan's Island of the captain. No, don't call him the captain. He's the skipper. And so I mean, you get some certain little bits of humor like that, you know. Which I thought was fun because you know these students, you know, they're just having fun with each other, you know. And like so they're going around this town, you know, to discuss about the lore of the Blair Witch. They're going around town asking townsfolk, like this father and son, these fishermen father and son, you know. I mean, you buy, like I said, we as the audience are going along with them. You know, we buy like we're in the movie with them. That's why I felt like I was with, you know. And they're just asking around townspeople, which also, by the way, I reviewed this last year. I reviewed this last year for Halloween month of when, after like this film was released in the same year, later in October, they did that parody of Scooby-Doo, you know, the Scooby-Doo project, where they did that with Blair Witch. We had the actual characters in the realistic world in the woods. Like Shaggy's like, oh, these ain't, like Shaggy says, these ain't your ordinary woods. They look so real. Yeah, because they shot in the real world, actual woods, and they just added the digital Scooby-Doo gang in there. Which it was a fun take on the Blair Witch Project, you know, it was. And I reviewed that last year. You can check that out though, the Scooby-Doo Project. It was a fun little a fun poke at the Blair Witch Project. You know, having the Scooby-Doo gang, you know, they were the ones that get lost and fighting amongst each other and stuff like that, you know. So, but after that, after they discuss with the townspeople, they're in their hotel room having some fun, poke fun with each other, and then it comes a time when they find where they're at, the woods, and they walk in. They see the cemetery and filming, and one thing leads to another. You know, basically, eventually, shit starts hitting the fan. Basically, you know, they hear little noises here and there. You know, wondering what is that. You know, and then eventually, you know, they eventually get lost. You know, this is like it's like this kind of times like where they're having fun with each other in the beginning. Now they're starting to like getting frustrated and fighting amongst each other. Right. You know, how do we get out here? They're lost. There's one thing. The creepy thing is you're in the middle of the woods, and that alone can be creepy when you're isolated from pretty much from civilization, and you're by yourselves in the woods. And you have no sense of direction because, you know, they always keep getting lost and coming right back to where they were. You know, they walk they said they've been like walking for like 15 hours and they just like they keep ending up back in the same place and just like. And this is really how they're just, like, so psychologically and emotionally breaking down, you know, and, like, they're in their tent and they hear some noises out in the woods, like especially when they hear babies crying. That was creepy, you know? Just, why would there be babies out here, you know? And you hear the babies crying and, like, that's creepy. Or when they open up the tent and they see three piles of rocks, right? Because there's three people. You know, one here, and one there. So like that's creepy as well. And of course, when you see the stick figurine of the symbol of the Blair Witch, and especially now they're like there since they're low on food and water and resources. You know, with the whole thing with the map. You know, they only kick the map in the stream. And it's when they're fighting amongst each other, you know, just like, they're just slowly losing it, you know, those falling apart. I mean, it just shows, it genuinely feel like when you're isolated from civilization, you start mentally losing it. And then when hear more noises, then of course they hear right outside their tents, like the tents like being moved around, like what's going on, you know, and the whole tent starts shaking, and then one thing leads to like the next morning, Joshua is gone. He's disappeared, and of course later they hear him scream in the distance. That's generally creepy as well. That alone is creepy. They hear him scream in the distance, and that's what they. Like you said, people will complain that you don't see anything. All this way, I don't want to see anything. That's what gives the film suspense and creepiness, and you know, just like they hear him scream in the distance. That's creepy. Like the whole thing with the babies crying, you know. And then later, finally, they find this little bro. It's like they they untie it, and there's teeth in there, like Joshua's teeth. And just like what I said before, you buy like say this is why people thought that the quote this was real, you know, because I feel like I'm in there with them. That's the thing. Like I said, and just like how they're just like they're starting to fall apart, and like I said, and they keep walking. They basically it's like walking in this endless loop, you know. And one thing I forgot to mention, I gotta give credit to the directors, Eduardo, Sanchez, and Daniel Myrick, and of course along with the other like the writers and the rest of the production team, you know, in which both the directors later go on to do a couple more films I like. They did this one called Altered, which I thought was kind of interesting. I have to rewatch that again, but I remember was being an interesting film. And then another one that I really enjoy. It was one of the better found footage movies, let alone one of the best Bigfoot movies, and it is called Exist, which I reviewed I think last year. That's one of the better Bigfoot, let alone found footage movies I've seen. You know, I enjoy that movie. They both did a good job with that movie. Exists. So, but I really do give props to at least both the directors and the rest of the production team who helped make the Blair Witch Project, because even though it's a low budget film, do you think shooting something like this is not easy? You know, I wouldn't have. I wouldn't even. I would just doing this, you know, with nothing at all, and be like the worst thing I've ever done, because no budget, no nothing, you know. So even despite making a low budget, like film like this, and think it'll be that easy, it's probably not. And to me, I enjoy this a lot better than. It still outbeats some of the found footage films I've seen today. You know, I mean, I like Cloverfield. Like I said, Exists. That's a great one. As Above, So Below. That's a good one as well. The Tunnel. Let's see what else. As Above, So Below. The Tunnel. What was the St. Francisville Experiment? I just reviewed this earlier. The St. Francisville Experiment. Like I said, I like Cloverfield. So there's like found footage films I do like though, but the other ones that do get praised, that I do think it's overhyped. I do think this is definitely a lot better than the Paranormal Activity movies. There's one thing, when the first Paranormal Activity came out, people were so praised about, oh, that's real, you know. No, it's not, okay? Especially it was real especially the girl Katie, you know, at the end when she's fully possessed and she's looking at the camera, smiling, and then aha! Yeah, come on. I mean, the whole thing is like with Paranormal Activity. Okay, you make like, why didn't they just leave the house? Yes, you can make the argument. Yes, if it probably wouldn't matter if they went someplace else. It probably still would have followed Katie, you know. But so just leave the house though. Just go somewhere though. But still, yeah. Like I said, it probably would have followed her no matter what though. But I wouldn't have stayed at that house anyway. That's one thing that people praise the first Paranormal Activity for. You know, that's there's a lot of times you don't see nothing, like you see like it was a shadow and stuff, like CG stuff with the shadow and the footprints and other stuff as well though. But I was never a fan of that franchise though. I never did. Especially it did went into more fake fantasy, especially the last one was the Ghost Dimension, or the marked ones where the guy at the end went to this one door and he ends up being transported to Katie and Mika's house. Yeah, those are real, yeah. Or Quarantine, which I hated Quarantine. You know, oh, those are zombies. Yeah, you think like people think that these found footage films are real? They're not. Okay, come on. So yeah, Quarantine. Well, because it's a remake of Wreck though, but still, the Paranormal Activity movies, or some of the Bigfoot found footage films like Willow Creek, or there was another Bigfoot one. Was it the Lost Coast tapes? I mean, just like other ones, you know. I think this film is much better than. To me, I mean, I like those other found footage ones, like I said though, but to me, Blair Witch Project is still the top dog for found footage horror movies. It is, because it still to me, it still holds up today. I mean, it still is genuinely creepy. I'm in it with the characters. I buy their performances so much because, like I said, their acting was great. You know, you bought them being mentally broke down, emotionally broke down. You know what they're going through. I bought their performances. And there was an extended cut that never got released. But I think it was because now by this time it's Lionsgate. I think they never release a director's cut, which I'm sorry, screw Lionsgate for that, because I would like to see all that other footage. Because I think it's like with this movie, I think with the extended footage, they would have been like 2 hours. I would love to have seen that, you know. Especially there was an extended part with Kevin Williams where he gives this great dialogue, which I'm like, I was so taken from his performance in that one extended part scene. I really enjoyed his performance in that scene, you know. Michael Williams did a really great job in that one scene when he would explain like his in his dialogue in that one scene. I was like so wow. But yeah, it's not. But this film still still does not have an extended director's cut. I said I would love to have seen that. So fuck them for for releasing the director's cut, or extended director's cut, whatever. You know, I mean, we should like one scene alone with Michael Williams in that extended scene is like wow. But I would have loved to have seen the full extended cut. I really would have. And plus, the film went at so fast paced anyway, so 2 hours for me would have been no problem. You know, the film would make a lot of money when it's being sold as an extended cut. I mean, come on, that's just pure laziness. Especially a lot of times with Disney as well, they're lazy as well. There are certain things that I still haven't seen from Disney that get released from the 90s. Henceforth, like the Mighty Ducks animated series, you know, that still has I got like an official Blu-ray, you know. I mean, come on, Disney is a billion-dollar company. They can't even afford to spend that much to release like something like that. Lazy. So anyway, getting back into this. After all that, you know, hearing Joshua's screams and all that stuff, you know, and the two were just like arguing with each other, but they said they apologized to each other, and like I said, henceforth, you know, like I said, a lot of the creepy noises they hear out there just feel like, you know, it's so genuinely scary, you know. And then at the point where we get the scene, like seeing the poster where Heather Donahue is with the face of the camera confessing, you know. I bought it. I bought her performances. I did. She really did a really great job. And of course, leading to the point where they do that house and they're searching, and then we see Michael Williams in the corner, and then all of a sudden the camera drops to the side. Or people say, "Oh, what happened?" You know. That's the thing is, you leave it up to your imagination. That's the thing. Some people just need to know that you just have let your imagination go figure it out. It's like with John Carpenter's The Thing, right? We did not need a prequel to explain what happened to the Norwegians. You know, in the John Carpenter's The Thing, when McCready and Dr. Copper were looking at that camp, you know, with the axe, or when the guy frozen, the blood frozen. You can just leave it up to, you know, what happened to them, you know. And of course, you'll find out they did bring the alien back to them, because that's what shit hit the fan, though. Or with the first Alien, right? Remember for the first Alien movie, with the whole thing with the engineer, what was that about? You know, you could have left it up to your imagination, but no, they had to explain it in that shitty. Ridley Scott had to explain that shit in his shitty prequel, Prometheus. Sometimes we like to have a mystery to this, you know. They think that mystery is a bad thing. No, because we have to freaking explain everything and anything willy-nilly. So, yeah, but yeah, okay, he's in the corner, and then the camera tilts to the side. What happened? Of course, there's different alternate endings where there's a scene where, in the same thing, where instead of Michael Williams, he's levitating or he's being hung, I just prefer the one he was just standing in the corner facing the wall. It's just like in the Scooby-Doo project, it's Shaggy who's standing there facing the corner, right? And Velma's like, what are you standing in the corner for? I'm scared, man! So, yeah. I love this film to death, I love this film to death. I will still defend this movie. I will still defend it because I never understood the hatred this film got. Never understood the hate for it. And the fact that you give these characters, these cast, the 3 cast members, like death threats and stuff. Oh, driving like Heather Donahue off the road. I'm like, give me a fucking break. It's a goddamn movie, okay? It's not real, okay? Yeah, people thought it was real, okay, but it turns out it wasn't. It fooled people. People don't have to throw freaking hissy fits over it. Jeez. It's one of those stupid things back then at one of those games, like either it's hockey or baseball or basketball, Some people, there has been times where people in the audiences, they get in big freaking fights. Whatever the case may be, it's a game, okay? There's no reason to start punching, kicking people's asses over a stupid game. It's not the end of the freaking world, okay? Same thing here, I feel bad for Heather Donahue, and the other rest, I feel bad for them. They don't deserve that. Because I think they gave genuinely great performances. Like I said, I bought them, they were, like in the beginning, they were laughing, smiling, making jokes at each other. Like I said, funny lines of dialogue, like I said. Oh, is it the witch? No, that's Heather just trying to take a piss. Get out of here. That was funny, I mean, there was some good moments of humor in it, but then later when the further they got, they're stuck in the woods, you get low on resources, they start going crazy, they're lost. They keep going in. It's like going in an endless loop for them. They end up in the same place. You bought the frustration. You bought them mentally breaking down and emotionally breaking down. Fighting amongst, turning on each other. Fighting amongst each other. And then after they apologized to each other, I bought it. And like I said, the location, the woods can be a very scary place, especially when you're in the middle. It's in the middle of nowhere, away from civilization, no one else around. It's just yourself. Wondering which way to go. You can't find the way out. It's like the woods like that. It's like being in the middle of space. It's like in space, they can't hear you scream. It's like the woods, You scream, nobody's around to hear you. So, and just like, yeah, and you don't have to have a monster or something other creature in this film to showcase, oh, it's a witch or whatever, You don't need to do that. Like I said, sometimes the best thing is scary is what you can't see. I didn't need to see anything because I can just think what's going on. Is like with Josh and Leonard when they hear him scream in the distance. What when they just where are you going? And they hear him scream like, oh, is he being tortured? Is there someone out here playing with us? Just fucking with us around? Why with these piles of rocks? Oh, with the bag that's filled with teeth. Joshua's teeth. So are these people? Are there people out here in the woods that's messing around with us, or is there something that's like a little bit of a phenomenon that's happening right here? We don't know. That's why you leave up to your imagination, to think what's going on. And like I said, with Joshua screaming in the distance, or when we're in the tent, they hear the babies crying. That's creepy. And then also like the tent starts shaking with them in it. What's going on? And just it's just like so much more going for it, That's why I thought this is one of the few films that retains that genuine creepy vibe to this film, And yeah, that's what when my dad said back when a lot of people saw this. It was like if they thought this film was real. And I would say it is probably one of the close to being the most realistic you'll ever watch. It is. Because later, then like the next year, they did a sequel, Blair Witch 2, Book of Shadows, which is not found footage, it's an actual movie, which I'm not a fan of. To me, it sucked. But then I thought it couldn't get worse, and of course, years later, in 2016, when they did Blair Witch, which I hated, directed by Adam Wingard, who directed You're Next, I'm not a fan of. Of course, you go to direct the MonsterVerse sequels, like Godzilla versus Kong, and Godzilla and Kong, New Empire. Adam Wingard is just... I don't like this guy. Yeah, he did one good one that was called The Guest, with Dan Stevens. That's one thing I liked about that one that he did, okay? He did a film called The Guest, and I actually did like that one. But, overall, I'm not a fan of Adam Wingard, and I hated Blair Witch. That screwed that up, Even I'm not a fan of Blair Witch 2, Book of Shadows. Even I would say Book of Shadows was better than Blair Witch, the 2016 film. I even thought that was better than that. And that's not even found footage, either. But I don't like Book of Shadows, though, but even I would say it's better than the 2016 Blair Witch one. So. But regardless, though, I love the Blair Witch Project. I love the film to death. Like I said, I love the characters. They were likable to me. They were very likable. You can relate to them. And like I said, they gave fantastic performances, especially from Heather Donahue and even Michael Williams. If the extended part, if part of the extended cut, if you can find it, he gives that one speech, and it's like, wow, that he did a fantastic job in that scene there. So yeah, these three, Josh and Leonard as well, they all gave fantastic performances. They deserve more credit, Especially Heather Donahue, who got pretty much more of the threats. I'm like, that's bullshit as well. And she was not bad at all. Like I said, nominated for a Razzie for Worst Actress, bullshit. Okay, she was fantastic in that film. Like I said, everything she said, you bought. Like, especially in her confession with the camera, Oh, that's one thing I forgot to mention. It's the same thing with a thing in quarantine, or people will complain about, People complain about, oh, you don't see anything. I already explained it, Sometimes what you can't see can be suspenseful and scary, okay? Or people complain, oh, why don't they just drop the camera? That's another thing. Why don't they just drop the camera? Well, even among fighting amongst themselves, yeah, they do mention a couple times, just drop the camera. They do, okay? But the thing is, though, the camera is the only source of light that they have, because there's a light that's attached to the camera. That's basically their only light that they have to see in the dark. So people tend not to forget that. If they have a light that's attached to the camera, that's basically the only thing they can see in the dark with, because they're using it as light. I think they had a flashlight with them, but the camera was the biggest one, the source of light they had, and that's why they'll drop the camera. They're using it as light. So yeah, I was like, they do mention a couple of times. They do mention drop the camera. But no, they need to use it as light so they can see. That's one thing that people tend to complain about. But the thing is I bought in their situation. I feel like I'm in the situation with them. So I just don't get the hate for this movie. I don't. It's in my top 10 favorite films of all time, horror films of all time. I just don't understand for it, I love the film to death. I'll still wherever the hate this film gets, because this film has gotten hated, like I said, for years, and I'll still defend this film. I will defend this film to the bone. or the day I die. You know? Because, of course, like I said, the film got parodied a lot of times. There was this film called, The Bogus Project, you know? The Bogus Witch Project. Or, of course, like I said, the Scooby-Doo Project. That was a fun little parody as well. So, yeah, this film got parodied a lot, though, but Blair Witch Project was a film that just captivated the found footage films. I mean, there's all the found footage. It's like people thought they were real too. It was like a Serbian film, and then there's also Cannibal Holocaust as well. Which those films should be burned and never see the light again. Because like Cannibal Holocaust, they filmed like actual animals being killed. I'm like, Christ almighty. You know, you see actual animals being killed and stuff, you know. Oh, like that's real. Oh yeah, but it's, you know, fuck Cannibal Holocaust, you know. Or there was another one like a Serbian film that was where you see a freaking little baby get freaking raped. That is sick. Okay. Oh, you want to see realism? Okay, yeah. You want to see a baby get raped? Jeez. Fuck those films. I'll stick to the good ones, like As Above, So Below, Exists, Cloverfield, The Tunnel. What was the other one I forgot? I mentioned it, I forgot. I just freaking forgot now. But there are there's a couple other found footage films I like. So, but a lot. Oh, Afflicted. That's another one. Yeah, I reviewed the film long ago. Afflicted. That's a good one. That's a good horror one. Afflicted. But Blair Witch Project. I really enjoy the film. I do. I enjoyed it. Not more just I enjoy it. I love the film, and I'll still defend it. And I will never understand the hate it gets, especially with the actors. Like people thought it was a real movie. Yeah, that's what it looked like. It's meant to look like an actual real movie. But the thing is, though, if it was real, the parents of those actual lost kids would have sued the studio for releasing the movie. That's actually what would have happened. They would have gotten sued. So yeah, that's why that's if that was a real film, then yeah, that's what would have happened. But yeah, to me, it is the closest to realistic as you can get, though. But yeah, I don't know more I can say about the actors. Fantastic performances. I bought their situation, trying to get out of it. I bought their genuine feelings, and the vibe, the look of the movie, just the woods, everything I found basically no problems with at all. So this would be perfect to end Halloween month, you know. And like I said, this marks the perfect for viewing for the 25th anniversary of the Blair Witch Project, and I will still want to see the full extended cut on DVD or Blu-ray. You know, please, wherever you see it was Lionsgate or wherever, get your heads out of your asses and release the extended cut on Blu-ray. Okay. Because Blair Witch Project is a well-known name, you know, over the years. Because the film made a shitload of money in the U.S. and worldwide. So, you know, like I said, laziness. But yeah, Blair Witch Project, it's still a great film. It's still one of the most genuinely creepy movies that I've ever seen in my life. As it pretty much did when it came out back in 1999. You know, generally creeped the audience the F out. You know. But of course, I love Deep Blue Sea as well, because that came out the same weekend. Like I said, I saw both of them pretty much around the same time, you know, when they came out, you know. Man, that's like a shark's fin. That was a great weekend, you know. Having Blair Witch Project and Deep Blue Sea released in the same weekend. But of course, the romantic comedy film Runaway Bride beat both of them, though, but still. But my brother, he got to see Runaway Bride, and I got to see Deep Blue Sea, you know. It's still one of the great movie theater experiences for me, you know. But Blair Witch Project was great too, you know. Especially when you're I was 8 at the time when it came out, you know. I was 8. And that still just gave me the chills down to the, like I said, chills to the core. Like I said on the back of the DVD cover. Yes, it gave me chills to the core, you know. And it still gives me creepiness when I'm all alone watching it in the dark, you know. That'd be a great to watch and watch it alone in the dark. Gives you that same atmospheric creepy vibe to it, you know. Just turn your phone off because you don't want to get disturbed by it. So, yeah, but Blair Witch Project is still awesome. I still give this 2 thumbs up. So anyway, yeah. So I hope you enjoyed Halloween month. I hope you enjoyed all the good ones I recorded, and just let me know how you thought this Halloween month went to, you know. Of course, leave your comments down below. What are your thoughts of Halloween month, or let alone this movie as well, because Blair Witch Project is still an awesome movie to watch. It still is one of my all-time favorite horror films still. So yeah, 25th anniversary of the Blair Witch Project. Still an awesome movie to this day. Still one of the more generally creepy movies I've seen today. And it still works. So never understood the hate. Kudos to the whole entire team, the directors and the production team, everyone, because they all deserve the credit too, including the 3 actors: Heather Donahue, Michael Williams, and Joshua Leonard. Everything about this movie, no problems at all. So yeah, but thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more videos to come, and we'll see you next time. Especially for next year of Halloween month. Later.